How's everyone doing out there today? Slampig Magoo, welcome back to the channel. As always, I like to start these things off by thanking everyone who comes back all the time and checks these videos out. Thank you so much, man. It means the world to me. If you're new here, maybe after you watch the video, if you like what you see, maybe you can consider hitting that like button, maybe even the subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. Thank you so much. But, oh, my friends, another tale of woe I'm going to lay on you today, my friends. I'm so grateful and happy to be back home. I started the day off pretty early. Yeah. I pulled myself out of bed. I made the coffee real quick and then right into the shower. I had to get to stepping out that front door this morning because Magoo here, he had himself a little job interview. Those of you who listen to me bitch on my channel, know that the place I was working for closed down a couple weeks ago, so I've been stressing out. I've been putting some applications here and there where I see them. And, yeah, I finally had a bite the other day. They called me up. They're like, hey, we're local. It seems like you got the skill set for our place. Why don't you swing through? Why don't you swing through and have yourself a little job interview, they said. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, So, yeah, woke up early this morning. It put on my best friggin' duds, man, shaved, showered up real nice and everything, and I headed out the door to the interview, And, I don't know, my friends, interviews are a weird thing. They, obviously, when you, the opportunity to go on one falls in your lap, you're obviously out there looking for work, you know what I mean? So obviously you're in that mindset, I got to get out there and earn myself $1 or $2, I got to find gainful employment, I got to pay these stack of bills, So the job interview can be inspirational, you know what I mean? You can go into these things with nothing but the best intentions and high hopes, you know what I mean? You want to walk in there and, everyone's different, but there are some universal things that everyone wants to see on a job interview. They want to walk into a nice, clean, modern building. They want to see some modern equipment. They want to just walk in there and have the first impression they have that this place is run well, that it has a future there for you, But, sometimes that's just not the case. Sometimes you feel tricked into walking into some of these places when you actually step inside and see the hell that is unfolding at their place of work, And oh, my friends, today was no different. Today was no different at all. Like as soon as I walked in there, oh God, I just knew. But like a trooper, you know what I mean? You can always put your best face forward. A little job interview technique skills or something like that can always be learned. You know what I mean? So, I stuck it out. I humored the guy really to see what he was all about and everything, see what their business was going. And, oh, Jesus Christ, man. I couldn't wait to get out of here. I knew too, like halfway through the video, I'm like, man, I'm gonna finish this interview. I'm gonna go home, kick these shoes off. I'm gonna make myself a little video and I'm gonna talk so much shit about this. I should have known better. I should have known better from when I pulled in and I looked at the condition of the outside of the building. Now, size-wise, it was a pretty decent place, you know what I mean? But all, like manufacturing places have to have a good amount of square footage, But, whatever. I've worked at some shitholes before, so it's nothing new to me. And, I walk in there into the little foyer where the little receptionist window thingy is, whatever. And, I'm looking around. There's no buzzer or anything, so, I tap on the window after a minute or so. And, a guy sticks his head out, comes up to me, and I introduce myself by name, and he's like, oh, I'm so-and-so. I'm the gentleman you're here to talk to. I'm the gentleman here that's going to interview you today. So I thought, hey, great, man. Let's kick this party off. So, we walk into his little office and everything. Typical office. It's smaller size. It's got piles of papers and shit and little product everywhere. And he's flipping through my resume. He's asking me questions about my last job, about experience, where I've worked before, things I've done, the whatnot. It's all pretty basic. And he starts telling me what they do there and everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, it sounds interesting, and everything. And finally he's just like, oh, why don't you come with me? I'll walk you around, like the production floor. I'll show you where you'll be working. All right, fuck it, let's go. As soon as we walk through, like out of the office place into like the production area, you know what I mean? Your eyes open up. There's no like dividing walls. It's just like a flat, a production area. Now the door of the office leads along like the far wall. That way, you're over there on the corner. You can walk straight through to the back and just like look over to your right at all the production areas. Which is what I was doing as soon as I walked in there. Obviously, the first thing you're going to do is look around at the employees to see if there's anyone there or anyone you used to work with. And, second, you're going to try to take a look at their equipment, at their machinery, see what type of gear they're running over there, But, the machinery kind of looked like crap. It sort of got the impression that I'm walking into, like, the finishing area or the packing area or whatever. But what did stick out is the employee body, which was almost exclusively migrant. You know what I mean? Through just, a quick glance, they seem to be like Southeast Asian as well as African, a mix of them both, And like far off, almost at the other end of like the finishing area that I talked about, like as soon as we walked out into it, like the first thing I'm aware of is that like two groups of people are screaming at each other, like on the far end of the wall, yelling at each other. So much in fact that it turned both my head and the guy that was interviewing me just in time to see like one of the people pick up what looked to me to be like a slat of a pallet. Like the wooden pallet, sometimes like one board breaks off, that they just took it and huck it. And, like just fucking chuck the thing over to where the other group was. I mean, there was a good deal of distance between the two of them. You know what I mean? I don't think the guy meant to actually hit someone with it as much as just throw shit over there in a fit of anger. You know what I mean? And the supervisory employee that I was with walked me down, just took it in stride, just kept walking past it like it was another day. I'm like, oh my God, this place is a shithole, And it right off the bat, I knew I was going to work there. You know what I mean? If management is letting people throw things across the shop at other employees there, it's a shit company, And so we're walking through, and he gets to my little area. It's almost like in the far corner. Now, that's where I like to work. I like to work in the back by myself, where it's quiet, where I don't have to deal with anyone. That's the environment I prosper in. You know what I mean? Give me my equipment, give me my schematics, my blueprints, whatever I need, and just leave me alone. You know what I mean? I'll see you when I need you. And we get there, and the job itself was for running a laminating press, which is just a fancy word for saying a heated press. You know what I mean? Something that squishes things down in the pads that squish it are just heated, I guess the application was, like taking a bunch of strips of metal and putting these, chemical layers between it, pressing it and letting it letting it cure, letting it settle. And, he's telling me this process and everything. And then he's just like, it's a 3-hour press. It takes to heat activate all the inserts and get everything all nice and uniformly, like fucking heated and spread out and everything like that. It's a 3-hour process. He's like, we turn them over 2 times a day, but there's a lot of free time, And in that free time, I'm expected to go and help out and work in other departments. You know what I mean? And I was just like, oh, whatever. We did the little tour. I'm looking at the machine too, and this press is like early to mid 80s at absolute best. I mean, this thing, the pressure adjustments are all like knob and valve and everything like that. Nothing's digital. You know what I mean? Stuff like that is increasingly hard to run. It's hard to produce 21st century production on archaic, old last generation equipment. You know what I mean? So he's asking me for maybe a little something friggin' more than your average worker. And not just in running that machine, but in also going out on the production floor. Helping out during the 3 hour press time that I have to wait. And I'm still going along for it. You know what I mean? It's always good to have good interview etiquette, even though I peg this place as a shithole off the bat. But we finished the interview. We go back to his little office. He's like, we could use you on second shift. He's like, what do you think? You like the place? Do you think it's somewhere you could work? Are you interested in everything? And up to this point, he has not mentioned anything about hourly wage, benefits, or anything like that. He's just like basically throwing a job out there at me, And I'm like, well, oh, it just seems like a pretty standard, production environment. And I'm like, what's in it on my end? You know what I mean? What type of insurance carrier do you have? 401k, percentage match, hourly wage benefits? What do you got? What are you going to throw on the table for me? And he quoted me a wage so much lower than industry standard that I thought it was a joke. Like, I waited a second for him to be like, haha, just kidding, we're really going to pay you this. I mean, the wage that he offered me is not that far away from the amount that the person who gave me my coffee on the way to the interview gets paid. I mean, it was like literally a glorified minimum wage. It was like $2 away from minimum wage. It was fucking ridiculously laughable. You know what I mean? It was immigrant wage. And I heard it. I'm like, oh well, I got a couple more, like prospects on the table. I have a few more interviews set up for the rest of this week and the beginning of next. But it's good to know I have an offer. Let me sit on it and I'll get back to you. And as soon as I said that, he knew I wasn't gonna fucking accept that shit. And he was just like, oh, well, good luck. Thanks for stopping by. Blah blah. And I took right the fuck off out there. You know what I mean? I'm in no rush to work in an environment like that. Those jobs are hell, But, leaving there, I couldn't get something out of my mind. You know what I mean? I couldn't get the role of the white employee, of the American employee, whatever you want to call it. I couldn't get the role of the white American employee in today's modern day DEI-infused workplace. You know what I mean? It's almost an insult. You know what I mean? What's happened to the state of jobs? What's happened to the state of everything? You know what I mean? I was honestly this guy expected me to walk through his door, earn the migrant wage, but do the above and beyond work. Like that is the role of the white employee in today's modern workplace. You are the problem solver. You are the communicator. You are the person best fit for management to quickly and concisely give orders to, and then expected to disseminate that throughout like the rest of the production floor, And I already seen that coming down the pike, you know what I mean? A job there would be like, finish up and hurry up and get that stuff on the press and go over to remember those migrants that are throwing things at each other? Yeah, you have to go over and work really hard in that department to make up for the deficiencies that the company hiring those two employees brought upon. You know what I mean? So right off the bat, I'm expected to go in there, pick up all of these workstations, be as productive as possible, and he's going to throw me coins, basically. You know what I mean? He's going to throw me a non-living wage, It's a slap in the face. You know what I mean? It is a slap in the face. This is a direct result of, just the American workplace being flooded with any job at any wage employees. You know what I mean? And our government subsidizes that. I have no doubt in my mind that every worker out there on that floor is only able to work for such a low pay. The only reason is because the government is paying for their home, the government is paying for their food, the government is paying for their health care. They are so subsidized that it doesn't matter. They're basically working for spending money, for cigarette money, for that bottle of Hennessy to throw back on Saturday night. You know what I mean? The middle class has been decimated by this. You know, there's no chance at upward mobility. The only choice you have is wage slavery at this point. I mean, what are you going to do, you know? You know, moving forward, your only option is to work twice as hard for money that is worth half as much, you know? But, yeah, I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. It, you know, you hear a lot about that term, quiet quitting. You know, if you're not familiar with it, quiet quitting is when you accept a job just to do the bare minimum, just to get the basic paycheck and then just to GTFO. You know, you're not looking to take on extra projects. You're not looking to climb the corporate ladder or take on any additional responsibilities. Your through-the-door wage matches your through-the-door responsibilities, and that is your plateau. You know what I mean? You're not looking to move anywhere from that because value-wise, it's not worth it to do that. I mean, why are you going to take on, you know, $3 or $4 worth of responsibility an hour? For the absolute most you will be compensated is a couple coins. It doesn't make any sense, you know. And a lot of people are catching on to that. And yeah, you know, quiet quitting. It's called. You know, look it up. This all sorts of videos on here on YouTube about it. There's all sorts of articles written about it. And, you know, you might hear it at first and think like, oh, these lazy motherfuckers just want to sit there and squat at the job and not do anything, you know? But the moment you have a job interview like I had today, you know, the moment that you become aware that you're expected to produce more and still be paid at the level of those that produce less, I mean, it all clicks. You know, it all clicks in your mind. Excuse me, but I don't know. I'm just bitching and rambling at this point. You know, huge thanks for staying and listening to me. You know, if you ever had a shitty job interview or are kind of sick and tired about what you're expected to go through at the workplace, you know, feel free to throw it down there in that little comment section down there. I try to read them and everything. You know, if you like the video up to this point, feel free to hit the like button. You know, subscribers are always great. You know what I mean? It always feels good to know that these little videos I make are reaching an audience. I really appreciate it a lot. And although I have not streamed for the last 2 weeks, there's a huge fucking story behind that too, man. You guys don't even know. But it was pretty bad. But you know, I think Easter Sunday is this Sunday, so I'm gonna, yeah, well, fuck it. I might throw a stream on this Sunday. Who knows? Maybe I'll do something stupid. But yeah, usually on Sundays at 7:00 p.m. Eastern time, you know, I do this little stream called Live from the Pig Pen. So you want to stop by the channel and check it out. It's always great. You know, we have a wonderful little community here. We talk some smack. We make some jokes. Whatever. It's a good time. You know, it's nothing that you know, produced or polished or anything. It's got a real community feel. But if that sounds like your thing, if you're into streams, you know, feel free to come by and check it out. Other than that, I think I'm going to get out of here, start to edit this video a little bit. Maybe I'll get it up onto to the YouTubes tonight. So, you know, once again, thanks for watching. And until the next time I see you, you know, take good care of yourself, keep each other out of trouble, and just try to get by as best as you can. All right? Thanks a lot. I'll see y'all next time.